This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning, let's explore the second passage of the meditation of Yongjie Xuanzhui's meditation classic, Song of Enlightenment. This is a continuation of the second verse, which talks about those who have mastered the path. It continues. Their Dharma body, they viscerally realize, does not include a thing. Their original nature is the primordial Buddha. The five skandhas of form, feeling, intensity, impulse, and awareness, but clouds floating aimless in the sky. The three poisons of dread, desire, and delusion, mere bubbles appearing, then gone. Let's counterintuitively work backwards through this text. Notice that the text does not say that these people, through hard and arduous work and many austerities, have gotten rid of all dread and desire and delusion. No, au contraire. It infers their experience of the three mental poisons is appearing yet gone, appearing yet void, appearing yet empty. What does that infer? For an explanation of that, let's turn to some visual aids. I'm going to tap button 9. Hopefully select the correct Word document. For a interesting change of pace. It has been my experience that the confusion and conflicting notions surrounding meditation are dispelled when viewed through the metaphoric lens of neuroscience. Let us begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spine, the middle bit of the hub of our autonomic nervous system. This middle bit could be described as the hub of our sympathetic nervous system, and it has evolved to help us just notice in a very special way, to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics, such as perception. Our ability to see and hear and feel and taste and smell and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. All of them, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. We are already wired to do this. All we need to do is take a relaxing break from our own destructive habit of fighting against our body's own mechanisms. However, the question remains, what are we to do with that which we noticed? The single word answer to that is meditation. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the tippy top as well as the very bottom of that same spinal cord, that same autonomic nervous system. These two regions working as a team could be described as the hub of our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us physically relax and mentally release during our exhalation to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. In the fourth grade, my teacher explained that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. So we have to ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel not graspable to the hand? And so we see that every time we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system during our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel at least a little bit less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and less tangible, at least for a moment until our next inhalation and the cycle begins afresh. The cyclic nature of this experience, like an acrobat performing cartwheels across the stage in a cabaret, infers that our job is not to eradicate perception, that our job is simply to cooperate with a natural process in such a way that helps us to cope with the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Now I shall push a couple buttons in hopes of returning us to this morning's teaching text. So as we relax into our exhalation, whatever dread we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel less tangible. Like a bubble we might find on a stream whose existence is merely momentary, whose duration could be tracked on the second hand of one's wristwatch. Some people have been taught by teachers who are so rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. They would steal their energy and enthusiasm and transform eager students into masters of minutia, trying to find the perfect label for each experience. When each experience, and whatever system of labels we might not use, are as temporary as a cloud in the sky. We have very good fortune as a species to have, and like many species on Earth, have evolved a autonomic nervous system that makes possible perception and release, that makes possible the processing of our experience so that we're not driven mad by the effort of survival. Our original nature, or our Buddha nature, it can be argued as simply our autonomic nervous system. There's nothing wrong with it. We are not damnable creatures seeking salvation. We already have a Buddha nature. See, a Buddha is not some bloke what never feels pain or crankiness. Au contraire. It's just someone who's gotten so good at cooperating with their own autonomic nervous system that they can do so spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. A real or imagined teacher known as Gautama once explained that one could master this path in as little as 7 days. If someone tells you it's more difficult than that, they are trying to sell you something. We conclude with the beginning phrase. The Dharma body they viscerally realize does not include a thing. Some people have been taught fairy tales that when they become a Buddha, then they will experience pain. When they become a Buddha, they will only experience bliss. And so appealing to the hedonism of others, They intensify their dualistic habits of pushing and pulling. But when we have the good fortune to receive teachings, or to at last listen to the teacher of our own body, we realize that whatever we notice during our inhalation feels intangible during our exhalation. So if noticing in harmony with our central nervous system is the Dharma practice of mindfulness, and relaxing in harmony with our exhalation is the Dharma practice of meditation, wherein that which we notice during our inhalation feels less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even less tangible. Then it could very well feel almost only, if only momentarily, that which we noticed, no matter how sanctimonious, is not graspable. The realization Buddha offers us is not an epiphany, not an aha. Many times people, there is an instinct in all of us, whether we admit it or not, to yearn to be the chosen one. And I can't tell you how many new meditation students will raise their hand in the middle of group practice and in false humility say, I just had an intense meditation experience. What could it mean? Am I the chosen one? Yeah, you are. Come, let us worship the shithead. No, it doesn't. A meditation experience does not a Buddha make. Nor a presence nor an absence of a meditation experience does not a Buddha make. A Buddha is simply any individual who's gotten so good at cooperating with their autonomic nervous system that they're able to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. They're able to go with the flow and use all the organelles of their central nervous system in the most sustainable way. So no, the self-important manipulator is probably not a good example of someone who's done that. In conclusion, each of us can master the path in as little as 7 days. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this early morning's live stream together, let us sit and breathe and notice and rest. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions sporadically. In about 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tonight's recitation, explanation, and practice of Meditate Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.